2003 Mercedes CLK320. Had a little bit of an issue today. I was on my way to my last appointment, and this guy, this upper pulley, decided to go. You can see the shiny spot right there, and you can see where this guy just came apart, and that is what's left of my serpentine belt. Now, the guy at the auto parts store said that this was an idler pulley. My girl's on her way. She's bringing me the new belt and the new pulley, and of course I'll be breaking it down on how this all gets fixed. Stick around, kids. Okay, so I got the new part here. This is the new pulley compared to the old pulley. You can see that guy was not feeling well either. So I'm going to go ahead and get my Torx bit, and that's going to be the Torx 50 T50 size. Just right in there. Now, of course, if you were replacing this and you didn't have the belt explode and shred the way that mine did, you would be doing the you would be taking the tension off the belt first. But in my case, that belt was completely shredded. So it is what it is. We pull this guy out, back it out completely. Up and out. Now, there is one thing that I'm noticing that's different here. This cap fit on the other unit, squeezed in and fit just right. This one, however, does not. So I think that I will eventually have to fashion a cap, a dust cap, to go over the end of this, because obviously I'm not going to leave this piece of plastic just flopping around inside my engine compartment. So we're going to go ahead and put this guy back on. One thing I was taught when I was very young by my first boss was that whenever you put a nut or a bolt in, to make sure that you don't cross thread them. If you've ever had a nut or a bolt that you put on and then all of a sudden it just keeps spinning and spinning and spinning, that means that you've cross threaded it. What you do is you turn it backwards. I'm pushing in at the same time. You turn it backwards until it makes a click. That means that you've got them lined up. So we reapply the wrench. Now when I pulled this guy off, it wasn't on there all that tight. And voila, there's a new idle pulley, or idler pulley rather. Okay, here's a good lesson in reading the packaging. You actually look right there, it says, note, this replacement pulley has a permanently sealed bearing. Therefore, the dust cover is not required. Check the original dust cover for interference before installing. If you have interference, discard the dust cover and continue with installation. So, duh, doesn't need one. You know, a question that I get a lot is, what about these factory identification tags that are on these belts? This one is actually designed to stay on the unit. All right, when it comes to this pulley system, the American version of this car, because it has air conditioning in it, it wraps first around the AC unit, second around the, there we go, second around the oil pump, then around the camshaft, or the timing belt rather. Then it comes up and over the water pump, then the alternator, then the newly installed idler pulley. And then, so what do you do with this slack? This slack is actually for the belt tensioner. So you just keep it all in line with each other. And now I've got this loop that's going to go down towards the tensioner, which is this guy. This is the biggest pain in the ass. This is a 14mm socket. And it's toward the passenger side if you're in the American vehicle. And now we are going to push and hold to keep the tension off of this pulley long enough for me to get my hands around it and pull the belt around. This is going to take you a few attempts. This is not an easy task. It's not meant to be. This belt is meant to stay on this car, and so therefore it has tons of tension on it. So now what I've done is I've employed a little help. I've got this lug wrench over the end of my ratchet. That'll help me get a little leverage here. And now, bring the belt down, around that pulley. Oh boy, this is a tough one. And there it goes. Now, I want to make sure that I've got all my grooves lined up before I let go of this, and I don't. I've actually got this guy on the end. Wasn't quite lined up. Alright, I'm all lined up. So, once I see that everything is right and in the right spots, there we go. Now, we've replaced the belt too. So in conclusion, new idler pulley. Doesn't need the dust cover. This has a sealed bearing according to the manufacturer. Brand new serpentine belt installed and the right way. Altogether, this cost me $38 for the pulley, $25 for the belt, and $3.85 for the Torx bit set. The important thing to remember with this, of course, is it all comes back to your tensioner pulley. I had said earlier there was a 14mm socket. It's actually a 17mm socket. I remembered back to my other video that I had made. But I was actually able to get away with using an 11/16. So that happened to work for me. I never recommend that, but you know, I'm stuck in a parking lot, man. Please feel free to comment, like, and subscribe. Make sure you watch my other videos. Dark Side Garage.